Intercultural Understanding in Australian Schools, Curriculum Review and Teacher Survey. The objective of Cultural Infusion's report for the 5th UNESCO Forum on Transformative Education has been to determine how intercultural understanding curriculum and policies across Australia are progressing UNESCO Target 4.7 outcomes towards global citizenship and sustainable development. This project has been delivered in 2 stages. First, a comprehensive literature review that examines Australia's current approach to intercultural understanding across the foundation to Year 10 education system. Secondly, a survey was distributed to teachers across Australia to evaluate the findings from the literature review and to measure Australia's progress on the ground, that is, in Australian classrooms. During Stage 1, our preliminary report found that intercultural capability is one of 7 general capabilities in the Australian curriculum, but we sought to explore its effectiveness. By analysing each individual Australian state or territory's approach to intercultural capability, we found that different jurisdictions exhibited different educational priorities. The Australian states and territories of Victoria and the Northern Territory were found to be the most proactive in addressing intercultural understanding. However, on a national level, the research suggested that limited resources are available to Australian schools to effectively deliver intercultural understanding education. After the publication of the preliminary report, we distributed a survey to Foundation to Year 10 teachers across Australia as part of Stage 2. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we were unable to generate the engagement that we anticipated. We received a total of 88 responses from over 3,000 survey visits. Our survey obtained information such as teacher confidence in intercultural understanding and the resources available to them, as well as the emphasis that their school places on intercultural capability. Here are the 5 principal statistics and findings from our survey. More detail can be found in our recent report. 1. Almost half of Australian teachers said that they were either uncertain of their school's emphasis on intercultural capability of the Australian curriculum, or their school placed little to no emphasis on the subject. 2. 74% of Australian teachers were very confident or adequately confident about teaching intercultural understanding. 3. State government intercultural resources are not being adequately promoted and recognised. For example, as an Australian leader in addressing intercultural understanding, Victoria's dedicated resource called Fuse was only mentioned by 1 teacher out of the total 56 Victorian respondents. 4. National resources addressing intercultural understanding education are extremely limited. In fact, the only Australian government program entitled the Professional Learning Program, or PLP, was not flagged by any respondent. 5. As confirmed by qualitative data insights from teachers, some jurisdictions emphasise intercultural capability, such as Victoria. However, others, such as Western Australia, do not prioritise this area at all. In response to the forum's question, "Where do we stand?", our research has enabled us to provide a benchmark on Australia's current progress towards effective global citizenship education. After analysing our data, we gave Australia a moderate score, the equivalent of 4.5 on a scale of limited engagement 0 to transformative progress 10. The score was developed in alignment with relevant UNESCO Target 4.7 components, including national education policies, curricula, and teacher education. We recognise the progress that Australia has made towards Target 4.7 with respect to global citizenship and acknowledging the role of culture in sustainable development. For example, the introduction of intercultural capability as general capability of the Australian curriculum affirms its integration into the education system. However, much work is to be done to ensure long-term commitment and joint priorities across Australia. Our advice at Cultural Infusion, as outlined in our most recent report, is that national efforts be made to ensure a consistent approach to intercultural capability. Some of our suggestions include an updated national teacher training program, public campaigns, regular teacher surveys, and embedding government programs and resources into the curriculum. Australia's areas for improvement and current progress in the area of intercultural education are invaluable insights for nations around the world. In our globalised society, we are enveloped by diversity, with a notion of global citizenship becoming commonplace and intercultural understanding becoming integral to our everyday lives. However, we believe it is important to understand that culture, in all its forms, is dynamic and constantly evolving, which then needs to be reflected in education sectors across the globe. There will always be room for growth, and Australia's efforts towards transformative education should be constantly under review.